Hey, how about you, everybody? Welcome into the Corner Call-In Show. I'm your host, Jeffrey Lee, Senior Recruiting Editor for Auburn Sports. Dadgummit. Today is Sunday, November the 2nd, 2025 for you. It is Sunday, November the 2nd, 2025 for us as well. Same day, same year, even this same time, I believe. Unless you're in a different time zone, then we'll have to work something out. We have a fantastic show for you tonight. I'm guessing it's going to be an interesting show. Our first show post Hugh Freeze era at Auburn. Auburn and Hugh Freeze, if you have been living under a rock for the past 6 hours, have parted ways after a 15-19 record over 2 3/4 seasons with Auburn, and following a 10-3 abysmal loss to the Fighting Kentucky Wildcats and Mark Stoops. We're going to get to as many phone calls as possible tonight. 701-779-9585. Want to know what your thoughts are on the Hugh Freeze firing. Maybe get your opinions on who should be the replacement. Several names out there. If you're not following along at auburnsports.com, you're absolutely missing out. We've got it covered. JG, Justin, B. Matt, Cole, Caleb. Got it covered from every angle. Even Alan on the message boards have been producing fantastic, elite content all day long, and will continue to follow this coaching search. We've got a special right now. If you're not a member, go get signed up. $1 for the first 7 days. And after that, I guarantee you'll want to stay. Joining me, as they always are 100% of the time, when I look at the monitor and I see their smiling faces, they are here. How about you, Mr. Cole Pinkston and Mr. Alan Head?
How about you?
Hey, how about you?
How about you, man? Jeffrey, I thought your call-in portion of JG's show just literally, first of all, I think I died laughing for the better part of like the next 20 minutes after I watched it. But the characterization of it was just 2 shitty teams, man, and Auburn happened to be the worst one.
They were more shitty than Kentucky, believe it or not.
Yes. I thought that summed it up pretty well. But it's going to be interesting, guys. It's going to be interesting moving forward.
Do you think it was good timing? J.G. Tate said in his ADOB column, if you haven't read that ADOB column from Another Day on the Beat from J.G. Tate at Auburn Sports, it is elite, son. Elite.
Yes.
Need to go read. That's worth the $1. I mean, it's worth more than that. But absolutely. But he said, this was weeks. He should have been fired weeks ago. Mm-hmm. I would not argue that, especially now looking back. So thoughts on the news today, the timing, and DJ Durkin being the interim head coach for the Auburn Tigers. Start with you, Alan.
Well, I'm with you that I think it had to happen today. Let's put it like that.
Yeah.
I had spoken with somebody in the industry that kind of had some counter thoughts to potentially maybe it being later. And that giving Auburn an advantage by not necessarily tipping their hand. But I think for the fan base and the players, there needed to be some relief. There needed to be a parting of ways with a failed tenure and a coach that unfortunately is just not going to get it done at Auburn. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
And so it's time to turn the page, recreate some hope within the fan base, re-energize everybody. And I'm excited to see what DJ Durkin's going to bring to the table.
Me too.
Smirking with Durkin, baby. Like I want to see it. You know what I mean? I want to see what it looks like. I think he's going to be a real candidate moving forward. All of my sourcing tells me that he's going to be a candidate. Now, I don't know if he's going to be the upper echelon, if he's going to be the backstop, where he's going to fall. I think probably this run as interim, as unfair as it is, right?
Sure.
To have 2 top 25 teams in the first 3 games that you're going to coach as an interim, That's not much of an audition, but it is his audition. And depending on what he makes of it, I think that could raise or maybe lower where he is in the pecking order as far as it's concerned for the next full-time head coach at Auburn University.
Standing on the sidelines last night, Cole, as the game clock ticked by, the students in the crowd were booing and calling for firing Hugh Freeze, and it looked like, one thing John Cohen said before is why this hadn't happened before was that the team were still playing hard, the players were still playing hard, but you could see it last night against Kentucky. They were dejected on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, there was no they weren't fired up. They didn't look like they were into the game. They didn't look like they knew what they were doing, which is not really different from what we've seen previously. But Cole, timing, man, I don't know anybody who walked out of that game and went, No, man, let's give him another week.
Yeah, no, you're right. That point you just made about you started to lose them a little bit this week, I felt like, and that's not an indictment on the players, man. It's just a tough situation.
Right.
Keep getting up, and I don't blame anybody for that. I want to be clear. I thought the timing was after the Missouri game because what more do you need to see at that point? And I also felt like there were some things that were salvageable after that game. Not that they're not now, but you could have already had this whole who's going to call the plays worked out. You could have had, Durkin in charge for a week or two. You could have had maybe some re-energizing before your night game in Jordan-Hare against Kentucky, before you go to Vandy, who is beatable, but not going to be easy. I just felt like that was the time, but they chose not to do it during that week. I heard that they could drag this out to the bye week. I heard that it could go to Monday. I heard all of that, and I was going, I think we talked about it last night, Jeffrey. No, stop this. Stop. You got to do it. It's time.
Yeah.
You can't drag this on anymore. I don't have any hard feelings for Hugh Freeze at all. I think his statement on the way out was fantastic. But it's just part of the job. Results business, as Alan always says. It was time. It was past time.
Talk to us, Alan. You got a thought? It's right there on the tip of your tongue.
I mean, I'm with you, Cole, that maybe you could have done it earlier after Missouri. But I think what you're signaling to the coaching community is you were willing to give a guy that looked like he was on his last leg at Missouri even a couple more games to right the ship, which means, and I think this is something that fans won't necessarily care about right now, but I do think that it increases your candidate pool because it shows that Auburn is willing to be patient to the point that they can no longer be patient. Coming off of Brian Harsin, where you fired a guy in a year and a half, and yes, he wasn't working, but if you're an active head coach and you're looking at Auburn, you're like, they gave that dude a year and a half, that doesn't make me want to leave my spot. Sure. But if you look at Hugh Freeze and the resources he was given, and he was given everything, he had the keys to the candy store. I mean, from an NIL standpoint, from a resources standpoint, from a facility standpoint, everything that he asked for was provided to him. From a front office standpoint, everything was provided to him. And then you see this year where it looks like he's not getting it done. And you see one side of the ball playing so competent. I mean, the kind of football that is championship level football at Auburn, the kind that was played under Pat Dye, that was played under Tommy Tuberville, those were reminiscent. Even under Kevin Steele, where you played a really good brand of defensive football, you had all of that. But on the offensive side, where you and only you are the entire offensive system and strategy, and you are unsuccessful, it only leaves him as the issue from a schematic or coaching standpoint, or however you want to look at it. And again, I'm with you, Cole. I'm not here to badmouth Hugh Freeze. I'm not here to trash Hugh Freeze or to make personal barbs. That's gone. He's on his way out the door. I did like his statement. He's going to be given a $15.8 million golden parachute. He will be fine. He will move on and work the touchdown club circuit and give inspirational speeches. And you know what I mean? Maybe he'll become a coach again at some point when he decides he wants to really get back in and do it. But I don't know if his heart's in it right now. And obviously he's got another, and I want to talk about this. He's got another personal struggle at hand where he's got obviously cancer that he's going to be dealing with moving forward. And I wish him and his family the best as they go down that journey. And I hope that it's very successful, him coming out in a full remission.
Yeah, a lot of different angles to this. DJ Durkin taking over. Cole and I and Alan, we do our recruiting show as well, and we're going to talk more about that on Tuesday night. It'll be up Wednesday morning about how this affects recruiting and just in the short term right now. We've seen most of the defensive guys are locked in because of DJ Durkin.
Yeah,
and that's where you've got Braylon Womack, you've got Jacquez Wilkes, you've got Shadarius Tootle, you've got some dogs on that side of the football, and they are locked in. On the offensive side of the ball, you really don't know what direction Auburn's going to go. We saw Eric Perry decommit, or he flipped up, which, trust me, people, that we've been warning our subscribers, our members, for weeks that he would not sign with Auburn. So that really, I think that this was just a good opportunity for him to get out of the class.
Yep.
So I wouldn't read too much into that as far as, oh my God, Auburn lost a kid to Memphis. That didn't happen. But anyways, let's get to as many phone calls tonight as possible. Before we do, want to say if you're in Auburn, Opelika, Lee County, you're looking for some real estate help, looking to buy a home, looking to sell yours, maybe upgrade, find an investment property, look no further for the help you need. Miss Jessica Andrews with First Realty. Give her a call, 334-704-4442. A lot of fours in that number, but do not be deceived. She's a 5-star realtor. If you don't believe me, just ask me. If you don't believe me, I'll ask Alan, and he'll tell you. He's got how many fingers you get. Hey, she's a 5-star realtor, folks. Everybody that's ever used her will reiterate that. They will confirm that for me. Give her a call. Jessica Andrews with First Realty, 334-704-4442. Tell her we sent you. All right, Zach in the back. How about getting us to some, let's hear the fans opine.
9003. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
Hey guys, this is Chris from Hueytown, Mr. Negative.
Mr. Negative. Imagine that.
Come on in here, my man. Come on in here. The water is warm.
Getting it started off right, Mr. Negative.
All right, I wanted him gone since the first Georgia game. I thought his scheme was horrible then. I thought the play calling was horrible. Even saying that, I still feel for him a little bit. I know he's got 15 million reasons to kind of be happy, but I still feel for the assistant coaches and the people behind the staff.
Yeah,
sure. Yes.
Tied to him. So it still makes you a little sad. But, watching the game of the night, it's the same old stuff. I don't know how in the world it's his third year, and we're starting a 17-year-old kid at center. Kentucky schemed him up all game and took advantage of him. And it wasn't just him. The right tackle didn't touch nobody all game. So the offense, I don't know what they're going to do with the interim tag, but the offensive line coach is horrible. I don't know who he is, but they've gotten worse.
Yeah, regressed. After spending a lot of money in the portal too, Chris, Auburn did in this offseason with Xavier Chaplin, with Mason Murray.
Yeah, again, didn't we? And I know we spent a lot of money on those guys. So they missed. We get done. We had, I don't know, we were on the 12-13 when we kicked the field goal. We had 17 seconds. And
I think it was on the 9.
And we ran 2 plays. We ran 2 plays in 17 seconds.
And looked awful doing it.
Yes, we did.
I think he hit Perry at the 9, and then Auburn got – that was it, right? Didn't he hit Perry?
Yes.
Pretty much.
I mean,
yeah,
I'm 55 years old, and that might be the worst offensive performance I can ever remember an Auburn team. I don't remember that 3-2 game a few years ago.
That was what I was going to say.
It might have been worse, but this had to be close.
I'm going to have to go back and watch the at-Cal game from 2 years ago. Because I remember walking, me and my dad watching that, and I'm going, this is the absolute worst football offensive performance I've ever seen in my life. And somehow Auburn won that game.
Yeah, at least Auburn scored 2 touchdowns, right? They somehow figured that out.
Right. But my thing, Chris, was this.
I was never too negative with Thorne, and I really don't think this is a quarterback. I think a little bit of it's quarterback. I think majority is offensive line scheme and play calling. I mean, they could be average quarterbacks, and they could be a little successful, but not with what we're trying to do with them.
I hear you. I think for me,
who do y'all think we're going after? Who would y'all like? And I'll hang up.
Okay, good stuff, Chris. Always appreciate you calling, man. Always got some great insight on JG Tate's hot board today. Zach, I'm going to pull that up. I'm going to give people a little sneak peek of what they can expect there at auburnsports.com. Where is the hot board? Oh, here it is right here. Yeah. Coaching hot board. Zach, I'm going to share this. Just give them a little peek. I'll give you the JG's coaching board. And let's see, the first, everybody's talking about, obviously, DJ Durkin. He's going to be in the mix. And then I thought John Summerall, Tulane head coach, Troy Ties, coached at Troy from Alabama. A lot of buzz around him for the past few weeks, even before Hugh Freeze was fired.
Yes.
Eli Drinkowitz, we all know the Auburn connection with him. Charles Kelly the same way. I don't know if he's I would think Charles is probably a little bit lower on the list. Alex Golesh from South Florida. He's a very popular name. Alan, what else? Anybody else you'd want to throw in there? Are you talking?
Yeah, people that I've heard linked to the job that will probably interview or have interest. Additionally, and I listed those on my hot board earlier today, were Jeff Brom and James Franklin. I think the two names that I've heard the most at this point are names that you covered, Jeffrey, and that is Eli Drinkowitz and John Summerall. Those are the two names I've heard the most to this point. That doesn't mean anything. And what I will remind people in coaching searches is, typically speaking, the first name you hear is the one that does not get the job. So just because that's been the most prominent name and the one that's been mentioned by national media. And look, I'll be honest with you. I've been hearing that name since this summer. Okay. So that's not a new name for me, and somebody that I think definitely has interest in the job, and somebody that Auburn has interest in getting a better understanding of, and kind of what he might be able to bring to Auburn. So the coaching search process is as much a feeling out of the candidate and the school and the candidate. It's equal. It's two-pronged. But again, I caution anybody, just because I've heard Drink's name and heard John Summerall's name for a lengthy period of time, that does not mean they're going to be who he gets settled in on. And the names I mentioned again, they're not on Jay's hot board. Jeff Brom, James Franklin. I think you're going to hear more of those moving forward.
And I would like to remind Auburn fans should be very familiar with coaching searches by now, but do not forget that a lot of these names being floated out there are coming from agents that want to leverage the school that they're with. For I think we've seen that with Indiana, with Rhett Lashley just signed another big deal. So keep that in mind, man. A lot of stuff's going to be flying, but I'm guarantee you we're going to be filtering it all at auburnsports.com. All right, Zach, good stuff. Chris, appreciate you calling in, big dog.
No need for an introduction here. Edward, you're live, man.
Screen door, baby.
What's going on, fellas?
How about you, big dog?
I tried to tell you, we make everybody look like this 85 Bears. Y'all thought I was playing. I'm convinced. Without Elijah Melendez interception, Turkey would have won that game even if it was 3-0.
Wait a minute, say that again.
Without the Melendez interception, putting us in field goal range last night, Kentucky would have won the game 3-0. They didn't even need the other touchdown without the interception. We would have never scored 3 without the interception.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't argue that.
No.
Hell, how many times did Auburn cross midfield? Well, they started inside the 10 like 7 times.
Beat up on Freeze tonight. Man, I really appreciate the effort he gave me in recruit. I really appreciate it. I think maybe, he said God sent him to Auburn. Maybe he did. But maybe he was just Moses. Maybe he just imparted our Red Sea, but somebody else got to take us to the promised land. And here's what I be hearing: a lot of names getting thrown around, and that's all well and good. But Auburn, you got to get it right this year.
Yes.
Well, we finna spend 40 years in the wilderness. We ain't gonna get nowhere. You got to get it right this time. And I look at this team. Not everybody's situation the same. Our situation different from everybody else who got coaching problems. Because most of those teams had problems all the way around. We only had one problem: offense. I looked at the way my defense flying around. And this is what I want fans to not to do. We can't judge DJ Durkin for these next 3 games. You really can't. For the situation that his offense have been in for 3 years, can't judge him on that. I really all the people, but Summerall, that's Tulane. You ain't playing Georgia, Alabama. You got Tennessee, Florida, LSU. You ain't got to deal with all that in Tulane. No. You should even be in the top 6 or 7. Probably a good coach, but let him go somewhere and get his feet wet. No, I don't need this to be your first experience. No. Lane ain't coming.
Correct.
Gruden, I ain't supposed to say Gruden. Did y'all forget what Gruden got fired for at the NFL? Come on, man. They're going to use that against him, recruit. Durkin and Franklin. To me, them the only 2 names that really right now, maybe Drinkwood, that make a lot of sense. And why I say, if I could get my offense to play with the same fire that Durkin got their defense, I don't need to blow up my whole staff. I don't need to blow up the defense. I can keep everything I got on defense. Everything that came with Hugh, Thornton, Ken Austin, Derek Nix, Ben, all them got to go. All them out of there. And I'm open my checkbook up to DJ Durkin, man, you go hire you the best damn offensive staff that you could possibly hire. Sometimes you already got, he's showing you. Look at the difference between the offense and the defense. The level of preparation, the intensity that they play for. Man, if I could get that out of my offense, all I need to do is score points. And I'm a playoff team next year. That was my only problem. I couldn't score. So I don't really necessarily have to blow the whole thing up. I like a James Franklin. He brings you stability. Can I pair James Franklin and a DJ Durkin together? Oh, man, that'll be a hell of a situation. But I have to think hard, and I know the situation that he had in Maryland. But we done forgave everybody else for the wrong they did. Hey, that's all I'm saying. There's other people that did stuff. I know a kid lost his life, but was he really at fault for that? If you felt that way, you should even hire him as a defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be an issue. Do you, Alan Cole?
I heard this from the fans. I heard some fans saying this. Not so much of the people at Auburn, you know.
I don't think you make him the highest paid coordinator like they did, I think, a year ago.
Yeah,
Put him to the forefront of your program if you're concerned about the backlash from his, past.
I
Way back.
Yeah, I don't think that they're worried about that per se. What I would say, Edward, to answer your question, is if you're John Cohen, and just from his seat, right? You had just hired a coach with baggage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to stake your career? Because this is John Cohen's career, right? He gets this wrong, he's fired. Do I attach myself to somebody else if I'm not totally convinced he's the guy? And I think that's where John has to get comfortable with it. He has to be convinced that DJ Durkin, beyond any other candidate, is the guy for Auburn to stake your career on moving on somebody else, that it would be kind of a redeeming quality there, or need to redeem himself somewhat in the public eye, not at Auburn. At Auburn, DJ Durkin's reputation is pristine. The players on that team love him.
Recruits.
I have talked to recruits love him. I have talked to multiple people after his speech to the team when he took over as interim head coach, and these kids were jacked through the roof for him. Okay. Now, some of that is, that takes place at every university where there's a change, but I believe there's some genuine nature to this, that these kids will play hard for him. Now, that said, I do think DJ needs to win 2 out of his next 3 to be seriously considered. I think if he can win 2 out of his next 3, I think he's legitimately going to be in the running. If he's 1 out of 3, I just don't know. I don't know how it's going to look.
And, I think Auburn fans of the Generation X are to blame for this period of time in Auburn football history. If you'll remember, back in the early 90s, we were all laughing in the faces of Alabama when they hired Mike Shula, Mike DuBose, Dennis Franchione, and they couldn't get it right for crap. You remember that? But you know what? And going back to what Edward said, Auburn has to get it right. John Cohen has to get it right, because this is we saw what happened with Alabama, and and it took a Nick Saban to get them out of that.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that there's another Nick Saban out there. I don't think there is, but there's a right coach, and you've got to get him.
You do.
We can't be doing this again in 2 or 3 years.
No, I mean, we live in a universe right now where Auburn and Florida are the reverse of what Ole Miss and Missouri are, right? Like, we live in polar. If you think about the history of the SEC, what Auburn and Florida have traditionally been are what Missouri and Ole Miss are right now. So if you're ever going to get it right, Auburn, you have to get it right this time. If you're going to regain your position within the conference and assert yourself as the program that we all grew up knowing you to be, you cannot afford to miss. And I'm not saying that it has to be the biggest name. It doesn't. I watched what Brent Key has done at Georgia Tech.
Mm-hmm.
That guy was the O-line coach, promoted to interim, and has taken over and has done a flawless job in executing a plan. And he was the right fit at the right time for that program. So if you see a name like a DJ Durkin or a Charles Kelly, and you're sitting there thinking to yourself, like, why in the hell would we do that? Sometimes there are prospects or candidates that have inherent value at a property that other people don't because they understand the landscape. And so I would tell you, don't necessarily to say right away, like, no, I'm opposed to that. Be open-minded is all I would say.
And Edward mentioned, and you did too, Alan, James Franklin, and I'm going, okay. And when I'm putting myself in John Cohen's shoes, and let's just say it's John Summerall, who is at Tulane, he's been at Troy. You really don't know what you're getting. You don't know what you're getting with the Billy Napiers of the world. You don't know.
No.
You know what you're getting with James Franklin. Like, he's been in the SEC. He's won in the SEC. He's been in the Big Ten. He's won in the Big Ten. He can recruit. He's familiar with the South. So I wonder how much will that impact John Cohen's decision? Do you take a risk? Do you take on bringing up a guy from the G5, or do you go like you said with a Brent Key type hire?
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of different ways that you can attack this. And I want to get Cole in here too, because I know he's got some thoughts. But you've talked about it. James Franklin is probably the guy with the highest floor and the lowest ceiling of any candidate that we've talked about. You know what James is. Okay. And he could certainly come in and stabilize the program, but is he going to win you a championship? He hasn't shown his ability to do that just yet. But that doesn't mean that he's not a good football coach. And
neither has Lane Kiffin.
There you go. And it doesn't mean that he couldn't do it at Auburn. You've got your own Brent Key situation with DJ Durkin, Charles Kelly. Those are the guys that kind of fall into that bucket of coach. And then you've got your G5 guys with your extremely high ceilings and an Alex Golish and a John Summerall. Look, I've heard some really good things about Golish, where he's just a dynamic personality. And realistically, if paired with the right defensive coordinator, he could be a higher recruiting upside of what.
Is he an offensive guy?
He's a big-time offensive guy. Cut his teeth underneath Josh Heupel, and then who's the head coach at Iowa State, Matt Campbell. So he's been underneath two really good football coaches, guys that I think have kind of stamped their name as legitimate, like coaches that anybody would want on their staff. And have that kind of pedigree, I think, makes him attractive. But again, it's the personality. It's the way he set up his recruiting department, talent acquisition piece. I think he's primed and ready. And again, I think John just kind of fits Auburn like a hand in a glove from a personality standpoint. Like, he is the kind of coach that people will gravitate towards. My hang up with him will only be, what kind of staff can he build out? Can he build out an upper tier Power 5 staff that understands what it takes to win in the SEC? I have no doubt his mentality and his coaching acumen. He's a good football coach. I saw what he did at Troy when Chip Lindsey left an absolute mess there. And he went in and won double-digit games and conference championships in back-to-back years.
You're talking about Summerall?
Yes. Went into Tulane and took over for a Willie Fritz program that lost every good player they had to another Power 5 program, and was able to get that program back to the championship game last year. So he's a good football coach. Again, my questions with him are, what kind of staff can he hire? What kind of network can he put around him? And is he ready for what kind of monster Auburn can be? Because Auburn's a great job, right? But it can also be a fishbowl, and it can eat you alive, and we've seen that too.
Cole, what you're John Cohen? What's some of the things that's going to be important to you moving forward and looking for this guy that you have to get right? Are you looking for that Golish type personality, the Summerall, the connections to Auburn, anything like that? Does that mean anything to you, John Cohen?
I mean, I think CEO is the main thing, because I think you can look back at Hugh Freeze's tenure and you can go, the most organized year he had was 2023, his first year. That was the best looking year under Hugh Freeze. And he was a CEO type that year. He took on the recruiting role, right? He did step in and start calling plays at some point, because the offense wasn't great. It wasn't as bad as it is now, but anyway, but it wasn't great.
No.
But that was his approach that first year. I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to get the roster back to where it needs to be. The interesting part of this to me is, well, number one, everybody's going to want instant success.
Yes,
right? They are. And keeping some of the roster together, I think, is going to be part of that.
Is that number one for you?
I don't know. Because I think you can rebuild pretty quickly. I do. I think you can do that in this day and age. One of the main things that I wrote on qualities I would be looking for in a head coach is young. I think young is a big deal. And a guy that grew up in this era, right? Not a guy that's having to adjust to this era that's going, yeah, I'm pushing against it a little bit. I don't want that personally. I would want a guy that came up in this era. He knows about it. He's been in it.
I like it.
So I'm looking at young. To me, it doesn't have to be a.
So you're looking for an anti-Dabo Sweeney.
Yes. And I do like Dabo Sweeney.
I do too.
Well, you know.
No, hey, look, I respect Dabo Sweeney. Let's leave it at that. I'm not gonna make any other commentary. I respect Dabo Sweeney.
Well, I respect it because it gives us a perspective of
Mm-hmm.
look, if you stick to your guns in this world, it probably ain't gonna work. You have to adapt, right? And I just think some of the younger candidates out there, it's time to take a shot on one of those because I don't know. I mean, Auburn really hadn't done that. They kind of go for more of a, I guess, proven in a way, but then don't end up with the guy. I hope they go for a different strategy this time. And with Cohen, I always look back at the Mike Leach hire. That was really an out of the box hire. You know, it was. It just seemed like a strange hire at Mississippi State at the time. It turned out to be really good for them. So I'm trying to put my get in his mind, and I just don't know. It could go a lot of ways because that was out of the box.
Well, his archetype has been an offensive play calling head coach. I mean, if you look at who he's hired at Mississippi State, he hired Joe Moorhead, and he hired Mike Leach, and then he turned back around and he hired Hugh Freeze at Auburn. Now, I would tell you that Hugh Freeze was not the primary target in last coaching search. Lane Kiffin was the primary target. I think Hugh Freeze was the guy that there were a lot of people around the program, and that was kind of a collaborative effort to settle in on that one. So I don't think that was John completely by himself. I'm not trying to absolve him of that hire. He stamped it. Hugh's his guy ultimately because that's the head coach, but he wasn't the predominant target. He did target somebody I think that was more fit. Obviously, he's proved that fit for this era, and I think that's the biggest issue, Cole. You hit it. I don't know that Hugh Freeze was fit for this iteration of college football. I think his offense was dated. I think his approach to recruiting was dated somewhat. Now, I'm not saying that I didn't like it. I think he did a great job at building out things. But if you look at those first couple portal cycle windows, I don't think they got the kind of value they could have had if they had built out a front office a little bit better. They've done it now. You've got some real stars in that front office, and I would like – that's the biggest piece to me. You talk about retention, Cole.
Yes.
To me, it's can you maintain the front office staff that you have there right now?
The recruiting staff.
Yes, I think you've really got that built out well. You need to still add to it. They don't have enough pieces. I think they need even more. But that's the part to me that's the biggest change in the game of the talent acquisition piece is the evolution of the front office and having talented people within those roles that can identify prospects and also put value on those prospects and stick to the value. Don't get emotional with some of your recruitments and you decide, I need to give them an extra $100,000 and you're putting yourself in a bad spot.
Good stuff, Edward. Always appreciate your call.
Can I say this real quick before we move to the next one? CEO approach, let's say that again, I think would really, really hit this time around because I like the fit for a CEO role, a guy that really, like, I don't care about offense, defense, as far as what they are, what they've come from as a play caller. I want to see a guy that's over it. Everything's under his umbrella. And you know, is it crazy for me to say, look, offense, you got talent there. I know it's there. It's not showing right now. Keep the defense together. Keep some of your young offensive linemen that they think are going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
I you know, that's where I'm looking to try to keep the roster together. And then if you have it already somewhat built, your CEO guy comes in, I think you're in a much better spot starting off than where you were last time.
All right, Zach, keep us going, big dog.
Got Anthony. Anthony, you're live, man.
My man.
Fellas.
How about you, big dog?
Anthony, do you feel like a weight's been lifted? Like you can breathe again, my man?
Hey, I'm glad. I don't know if y'all realize I'm glad I can call back. I ain't had shit to talk about for last week. Ain't no need to call when every week it was like just fire him. Ain't no need to call me and talk about the game. We just wait on the man to get out of here.
Fair.
But
I think, yeah. I think there's a collective sigh.
Don't have no ill wills for him, man. I think Freeze is a good dude. He outdated in the game and passed him by. And to be quite honest with you, he don't even look like he want to do this no more. So I think it's a win-win for everybody. 2 names I got for you. I need Brahms or Sumrall. Brahms, this man took Purdue to the Big Ten championship. You can win at Purdue, you can win anywhere. Purdue, now, and look what he's doing with Louisville right now. He got those guys knocking on the door going to the ACC championship. We need a program builder. I know everybody saying Sumrall. Yeah, he's tough and gritty. I like Sumrall too, but why not Jeff Braun? He done built 2 programs. Well, he done won at 2 programs, and one of them was a really tough program. I know he more offensive coordinator, CEO type, but I think we need somebody like him to, come in and show that he can win. He already been a P4 coach. My question is, in the time that we are now, does it matter to get a guy that can recruit the state like he used to back in the day? Like you had to get a guy like Freeze. He didn't coach in the SEC. You got to get somebody with SEC ties. Because I don't feel like it's that important anymore with the portal. Second part is, do we need a coach that prioritizes recruiting or portal? And that's all I got.
Short term, I could see the portal being most important for, just like it was.
It's both.
You've got to be able to do both.
But it also kind of depends on where your roster is when you step in. I mean, that's going to matter a lot.
Yeah.
I'll say that again. I think I keep talking in circles on that, but I think that's a big deal here.
No,
I think what Anthony's also his answer contains a lot what you said, Alan, in being able to put together a staff with the ties that you may not have. Like Charles Kelly, those guys that Hugh Freeze brought in were fantastic. Derek Nix in Mississippi, Charles Kelly in Alabama. There were a lot of good things on that staff and ways that they could go into areas. DJ Durkin in Maryland.
No.
So,
you're preaching to the choir on that, Jeffrey. I think a head coach has to understand what his deficiencies are, and he has to be able to build out a staff that can complement and accentuate those areas that he cannot. That's the biggest piece. And Cole, you've hit it over and over again, and I agree with you. And I think the front office staff, again, is the biggest part to this as far as from a talent acquisition standpoint, identifying talent, whether it's through the portal or through high schooling, Jesus, Alan, through high school or the portal, is the biggest part of this. And then the development piece that comes with that. I think the game has changed, and it's only going to further continue to change as the financial piece becomes the biggest part of the college game. Let's not mince words here. The financial piece will continue to be the biggest part of the college game. So having people that are competent on your staff that can assess, place value, and determine who the prospects that you want within your building is the biggest part of this. And then having a coaching staff that can develop those guys and get them to buy in. So there's where the CEO part comes in, because there's a lot to manage within that, Cole. And I agree.
You know what I think is great for John Cohen and for Auburn this time around is nobody can dispute that Hugh Freeze was set up for success here. 100% set up is about as well as you can be, honestly. This powers that be argument, I don't think he was interfered with that much. I think he was given what he was asking for as far as the money for his roster to make the moves on the guys he wanted. He's the one that prioritized the receivers. They put all the money into those receivers for him. Whether you agree with if that's the position you should prioritize like that or not, they did it. And I even think on his statement going out, he even somewhat alluded to that and was like, yeah, I appreciate Auburn for it just looks good to me right now as far as that goes. What could be a perceived big mess looks a little bit better than I thought at this point, because I think he was set up, and I don't think anybody can argue that. I'll say this. What's really, really tough about these coaching searches at Auburn, and definitely this time around, when you're comparing like what a coach has done somewhere to what he might do at Auburn, it's so hard to get an apples to apples comparison there. It's impossible. I mean, I think the only guy you can look at right now and say that and make a fair comparison to his situation, what he was dealing with, politics, the pressure, everything that comes with the program he was in, is James Franklin.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe Eli Drinkwitz, but it's a different dynamic at Missouri. But from a recruiting standpoint, the hill he faced and the roster he's put together is impressive. So it's like, man, you are taking a risk if you go John Summerall. You're taking a big risk if you go Alex Golish.
Mm-hmm.
But it could be great. I mean, that's a tough place to be, man.
It is. Like their ceiling to me is through the roof, but the floor is lower than some of your known quantities. I mean, he was just talking about Jeff Brom, and this is the issue that Auburn's going to have right now. And this is what I want everybody to understand. And this is why I didn't include Lane Kiffin on my hot board, because to me, Lane Kiffin is unrealistic for multiple reasons. There is a lot of competition in this coaching search. And I know everybody here that's listening to this show is a fan of Auburn, right? And damn well you should be. And it's a great program. It's top 15. Like the kind of program that coaches see it as, this is a top 15 program in the country. The problem is there are 3 other top 15 programs in the country that are also looking for head coaches. Mm. And what kind of domino effect are they going to create when they start selecting who they're going to get? And this is, so with Brom, right, he's in the mix at LSU. He's also in the mix at Penn State, like deep in the mix at Penn State. And then there's also Louisville there who's going to want to fight to keep him because he's at his alma mater. So stiff competition on that one. Lane is coaching for a team right now that is bound for the playoffs. Okay? If they finish this year and don't lose a game that they shouldn't, they're going to finish 11-1, and they're probably going to be the 5 seed in the playoff, which means they get a home game against the G5 team, which more than assures them of playing on January 1st. Because I doubt they're going to lose to a Memphis or a Tulane or whoever's playing them in their playoff game. What day does the portal open, Cole?
January 2nd.
So Auburn or Florida or Penn State or LSU is going to wait until January. January the 2nd would be the first day you could get Lane Kiffin on your campus. They're going to wait all the way till January 2nd to hire their coach. I think not. So people need to understand that timing here is also of the essence. And I think that takes Kiffin off the table for a lot of different teams. And LSU and Florida, for that very reason, are about to get their heart broken. And he's going to end up staying in Oxford as the highest paid coach in the SEC, maybe second to Kirby Smart.
Good stuff, Anthony. Always appreciate your call. Before we get to the next call, Zach, if you're looking for a new Chevrolet, new GMC, look no further. Got your man right here, Caleb Schofield with Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC in Opelika, right there on exit 62 off of I-85. Get ready to smile, people. Look at all these frowns, man. Turn those frowns upside down. Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC is now celebrating over 33 years of serving East Alabama and West Georgia for sales, service, and parts. Inventory is fantastic. 500 new and used vehicles on the ground and on the way, loaded with over 200 brand new Chevy Silverados and GMC Sierra trucks. Hundreds of pre-owned vehicles ready for you. Give him a call, 334-531-0996. Tell him you want that. How about you special? You got to tell him that now. I had a guy call him the other day. He didn't say that. You're out, big dog. No, he didn't say that. He said, I don't blame you. Give him a call. Caleb Schofield with Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC. Got fantastic GMC Sierras, and Chevy Silverados and everything else that you could possibly want. Give him a call, 334-531-0996. All right, Zach, keep us going, big dog.
2731. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
Hey, guys, it's Matt in Atlanta.
Hey, Matt.
What's up, Matt?
Not much. Alan, I think some of you guys know me as MWD, but it's Matt on the call. So,
cool. Dude, I love it that you're calling in. Go ahead, MWD.
I'll start off with a random fact about this coaching search, and you may have known it, Alan, because you may have caught where I said it. It means absolutely nothing about who's going to be the coach at Auburn. But did you know that there's one of these names on the hot board that is part of the Pat Dye coaching tree?
No. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, it's going to be Charles Kelly.
Well, other than him. I'll say other than him. He's the obvious one.
Who you got?
Alex Golish coached for Tim Beckman at Illinois in 2012 and 13, and Tim Beckman was a GA for Pat Dye in 1988 and 89.
You got it. I forgot about that. You brought that up to me the other day. Great pull, man.
And that's just totally random because the guy that was born in Moscow and coaching at South Florida and came up through Ohio, you would never expect to be in a Pat Dye coaching tree. But
Who is this?
Alex Golish.
Okay. I kind of like that dude.
He's the dynamic personality.
yeah, but I won't tell you guys, like, my take on this compared to where we were 2 years ago or 3 years ago and 5 years ago. There's no name on this hot board that Auburn's really going to go wrong with. They are all strong, good football coaches. They're at different levels in their career. They have different pluses and minuses, different risks, but they're all good football coaches. And they all have potential to win big at Auburn.
Matt, that's funny you said that because during one of the other callers, I was writing it down and I thought, what if I gave you this pool of coaches and said, it doesn't matter. You put them in a hat, pick one out. One of them's going to be your head coach. Jeff Brahms, John Summerall, James Franklin, Alex Golish.
Yeah, you're not. I mean, I don't think anybody can be upset. It's a coaching search. We know how everybody's going to get opinionated. Everybody's going to take their sides. It's like a papal conclave. The factions are going to line up. But at the end of the day, if it's one of these names, we're going to be in good shape.
I thought the same, Matt. I thought it was a pretty good pool. That was sort of my argument for the Missouri weekend, and I may be wrong, but I felt like I felt like this was a good pool, man. You need to jump in it. Don't wait.
Well, Alan will tell you I was ready to move on after A&M. I mean, I'm a very much that which must be done inevitably must be done immediately guy, and Jay Tate hates it when I say that. But I mean, that's where I stand, and like I would have loved to have given Durkin a whole half of a season to see what can happen. But we're going to get a good 3 weeks. I'll tell folks this today. Everything we've heard today has kind of confirmed it more. A lot of things that were rumored kind of became more confirmed today. There's a real possibility this offense can improve dramatically this week.
Absolutely.
As far as the results.
Absolutely.
They may not do anything, but they may also improve. So don't count us out. Fans need to keep hope. This is a new day. It's a new beginning. And we've got a real opportunity to finish out the season, well. It doesn't usually happen with an interim situation. This is a unique situation. So
sure.
I agree.
Good stuff, Matt. What do you want to see from the Vanderbilt game? Do you want to see just fighting the players? Do you want to see a competent offense with some direction where you kind of get what they're trying to do, what their game plan is, what their strategy here is, how they're scheming? Like, I don't feel like I got any of that with a Hugh Freeze offense this year.
I want to see quarterbacks let go of the football. If you can convince them to let go of the football, Auburn's offense will get better next week.
A lot of open.
Just convince them. Look,
in 1 week, you're going to learn a lot about what was going on with Hugh Freeze and his offense. Because if not letting go of the football is part of your scheme, you got much bigger problems.
Well, they don't let go of the football, Matt, because they're so indecisive, and that is what the system does to the players. And I'm so against that. I would rather you play fast, like your middle school coach used to tell you. Like, it goes back that far. Hey, man, you may not know who to block. Just go get them.
Find somebody.
Yes, and you don't want to revert to that exactly, but almost you almost have to get that in their minds. Like, guys, get your mind off of everything you were thinking about before, and just go hit somebody. Let go of the football. He's not open. Give him a shot.
You got guys. You got guys that can make you look good. That's what I don't think Jackson Arnold or Ashton Daniels, for that matter, have understood to this point. You have guys that will make you look good.
They're so worried. I can see it. I can see it in their body language. They're so worried about making the wrong read of the tens of whatever reads they have within a play. They can't. Take the reads off. Hey, I just want to see inside zone. No pass attachments. Receivers are out there blocking. Hey, I'll go crazy for that. I will love it. Let me say this real quick, too, as we move to the next one. Just a shout to BBAU10 on the board. Had a very good post today, and Cook brought it up in another thread. He said if Durkin was Georgia's defensive coordinator, Auburn fans would be begging to hire him.
Oh yeah,
Fair enough.
fantastic.
Matt, are you still there?
No,
Is he
he
out?
is not.
Okay,
He's not on the line.
gotcha.
Good stuff, Matt. Really enjoyed that call, man.
No, he's a great caller, great poster.
Yeah.
8547. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
This is Matt from Indianapolis.
Another Matt. I like
Another
it.
Matt.
That's what I was about to say.
We're
Back
going
to
from Atlanta to Indy.
What's on your mind tonight,
Let's
Matt?
talk to you guys.
Hey.
Well, first of all, I would like to say I really appreciate your show.
Thank you.
Thank you,
First
buddy.
time caller, long time listener.
Awesome.
And up here, there aren't a lot of Auburn fans, but I'm a graduate from '92, scholarships owner. I keep season tickets, and I love Auburn.
Wow. Season
And-
ticket holder, huh?
That's
It's
awesome.
embarrassing what's going on right now.
Yeah.
And I think they made the right call. I'll try to keep this really brief. What I wanted to ask you guys is, because I appreciate your insight. I guess the first question would be, what do you think is the best type of hire next? Because my opinion is, I think we need an up and comer. I don't think we need a retread coach.
hmm
And number two, do you think if you get the right coach that you can retain this roster? Because given all of Hugh Freeze's flaws, he did stack a roster. There is no way this team should be that bad on offense because they are absolutely stacked. And I'll just leave it to you guys. I'd love to hear your answer.
Great call, Matt.
You know, Cole mentioned this earlier. He wants a young up and comer as well, Matt. He doesn't want a retread guy. And Cole, that's why I was writing down the names that I did. I mean, you can even throw Eli in there as well. Drinkwitz, a young guy.
I think so.
Eli Golish. For me, James Franklin, he's probably younger than me.
James is in his 50s. I think he's 53, I believe.
I did actually looked at all the ages of the guys today, and I think the oldest is Charles, I think.
Yeah,
Obviously.
Charles is in his 60s, right?
Yes. And then you have Jeff Brom is 53.
Yeah, Jeff Brom's 53. I think.
Oh, wow. I didn't know he was that old.
Yeah, I think James Franklin is also 53. But then there's a
Yep.
major change when you get like DJ Durkin's 47.
Yep.
Those guys are much older than me.
Yeah,
Summerall's 47.
no, Summerall's 43. He's my age.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's
Who's
40.
40? Is Gold?
Golish is 42.
I
And
got
then
it all.
Eli is 42. But 47 is Durkin. That's his age.
Gotcha. That's right.
But I think everybody here has mentioned, program builder, CEO type. Cole wants a young guy. I'm absolutely not opposed to that at all.
Well, you just have to look back at what was missing, right? What was missing? One, recruiting. I think recruiting's been fine. Okay. So you still have to find somebody that still recruits that way. You can't have a big drop off there, right? This is where it gets difficult because you did find something with Freeze that works as far as recruiting and getting players there. Like we talked about, you would take this Auburn defense against a lot of them that have been really good. That's how good they are. So what was missing? I think details. I think discipline in details was missing. Find that guy. You got to really study it. And that's why I wanted more time. Like, I really want them to dive into that part of it. Because if you can keep the roster together somewhat, and then you throw a guy in there that does that, I think it'd be really nice, man.
Cole, who did you say made the post about if DJ Durkin was Georgia's defensive coordinator?
BBAU 10.
Dude, that guy gives me a how about you? I mean,
Yeah,
that dude nailed it.
It's going to be
For
a
sure,
top
dude.
3, I think. We might go ahead and spoil that. But that was a great point. It was a great point.
It is a cubed for sure, and he will get a how about you from me.
You find yourself looking over Durkin for some reason in this.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Is he the easy choice or is he the difficult choice?
I think it depends on the way you look at it, right? And here's the other thing with DJ, and we have to admit this, that there was, a prior head coaching stint at Maryland, and there was a situation where he was relieved from that situation. Now, let me be on record as saying none of that was founded to be accurate as it pertains to the death of the young man that was on that team. He was found to be cleared from that. All the same, it still happened, and he was relieved at some point, okay? And I think that's the toughest piece for anybody to get beyond. If DJ Durkin doesn't have that one situation, I think he's a head coach today somewhere.
Yeah.
I think he is the most ready to be a head coach coordinator in the entire SEC. And I'm saying that as somebody who is asked around. Glenn Schumann, in my opinion, not ready to be a head coach, and I have that from multiple people.
Okay.
DJ Durkin, ready to be a head coach, but he's got this situation, and is somebody going to gamble and hire him? And I don't know that it's that much of a gamble, but again, as we talk about, when you're the AD and it's your job, is it easier to hire somebody that doesn't necessarily have that background? That's kind of the situation that DJ finds himself in. But that's why I'm excited for this run as an interim, because he gets an opportunity to prove it on the field. Leave no doubt. And it's not a situation that's fair for him to walk into, again, playing 2 top 25 teams in the 3 games you get to coach. Not a great sample size. But if he gets an opportunity to go out there and he sticks one to Vandy and Diego Pavia, he's going to shoot up some hot boards for people, I promise you.
That game gets more interesting by the hour.
Dude, I've never wanted to beat Vandy so bad. I've never really put much thought into beating Vandy, but I've
never wanted a game against Vandy more, right? Like there's
maybe that's what it is. Yeah.
Well, the thing about Vandy, man, and this is such a good, for Clark Lee, man, and his name's been mentioned a couple times.
Yeah, sure.
That doesn't feel realistic to me personally.
It's not. It's not.
Him and Brent Key. Those are the two. Like, I've heard their names, but I just don't see it. Like, I don't see them leaving.
I'm with you on that, Cole.
And it's not. I mean, it's Vandy and Georgia Tech. Like, Auburn is better than that. I think it's got a lot more potential than that, obviously. But there's situations. I think in this day and age, man, if you're able to get your situation humming, like Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin, it's got to be so difficult to think about leaving that, because it was hard to build it. I guarantee you.
It's compounded by the fact that this is the alma mater for both of those guys, right? These are places that they've got sweat equity, that they, bled on that field and just dreamed about being the head coach there one day. So those are tough situations to pull guys out of. And it's the same situation with Braum, even though I think he's got a little bit more of an active eye than the other two right now.
Yeah, he seems pretty realistic to me. And you know what? I'll say this. I haven't been doing this. I've only been doing this job for 4 years now, a little over 4. But been around Auburn my entire life, known a lot of people that have gone through the program. This is not the first time his name has come up with Auburn.
No.
I've heard it. I've heard it closer than you may all think. So that one is interesting to me.
Yeah, and again, I've heard mixed things on Brent Key. Like maybe he would be interested, that he's not. And predominantly, mostly what I've heard is Jimmy Sexton is looking to get him a big raise. And so his name's going to get floated at a lot of different openings to create value for him and get GT to pony up on a big offer.
He's a good fit there, man.
He's a great fit.
Yeah,
he's a great
leave him
fit.
alone.
Get it rolling.
And I want to say with Lee, the detail-oriented team that he has, right? He has a really, really awesome piece in Diego Pavia to help with it. But they're so detail-oriented. Like, their defense is nowhere near as talented as a lot of the defenses in the SEC, but they find ways. You know what I mean? They come back in games. They don't quit.
No.
Like that is, I think that would just do wonders at Auburn to find a coach that can get that out of his players.
Good stuff, Matt from Indy. Appreciate you calling in, man. Don't be a stranger.
2915. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Chris out of Florida. I just wanted to say a couple things. If Cohen screws this up, we need to fire him and go after the JMU guy. And my opinion is because that guy has hit 3 or 4 of the last 4.
Oh, yeah, head coaches.
Hugh Freeze came here, never really wanted that never wanted Freeze, and we shouldn't go after a retread. We can find people. There are good coaches out there. There's good evaluators. And if we go in Franklin or something like that, we're just killing ourselves. I mean, I was here during the Pat Dye years at Auburn, and it night and day. You go to practices, you watch how tough they were.
Mhm.
That offense, you can tell it's not tough. But that's just my opinion, guys. I hope we, go and really do a due diligence instead of trying to do a retread. I've heard so many names out there that it's just frustrating.
Yeah.
It's frustrating, and I'm not mad at Freeze. No, but these people, I mean, look at what the AD at LSU did. Got fired because he cost them a lot of money. And our ROI on all NIL has to be taken into account. Our ROI on coaches and staff and everything else. And now it's become a business. Everybody talks about, poor kids. I'm sorry, they're now business people. They're employees in a way, and they need to be treated as such. That's just my out. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you call, man. That's some good stuff, Chris. Really appreciate it, man. As with Matt from Indy, don't be a stranger, man. Good stuff.
2349. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Bobby calling from Huntsville, Alabama.
Got you, Bobby.
Hey guys, I don't know if you guys remember, but I called in like right before the season started. And I said, if you're not doing it like Saban or Kirby Smart, we're doing it wrong.
Yeah,
And
Yeah, I think so.
what I was really thinking, Charles Kelly was never my first pick, but what I really need from a head coach is tenacity and a mentality.
Mhm.
A coach that's going to be pissed off if the offense is messing it up. Coach that's going to chew the defense's ass out if they're not getting it right. Pardon my French. I'm sorry.
You good, man. Speak with that passion.
I'm fluent in French, big dog.
I was watching Charles Kelly coach with Jacksonville State the other night,
Mhm.
and he just fits more of the Pat Dye prototype of coach that I think Auburn's been missing. And I think we really, if you think about Auburn football, we really went away from who Auburn is when we decided to go away from Al Borges and we went with Tony Franklin. And that led to bringing in Gus Malzahn and not what Auburn is identified as and what brought Auburn back under Pat Dye. And I really feel like if we go with Charles Kelly, like I said, who wasn't my first choice, you'd be getting that CEO type who can recruit, who can bring in offense, bring in an offensive staff, damn sure well can bring in a defensive staff.
Mhm.
And I think we can get back to Auburn football quicker with a guy like Charles Kelly. He knows the South. He can recruit, like I said earlier. And he's going to handle both sides of the ball and be at the top and be responsible for both. I'm going to hang up and let you guys finish it. And once again, guys, I love y'all, man. I love what you do.
Thanks,
Keep
Bobby.
doing what you do.
Appreciate you, Bobby.
Thank you, Bobby.
Hey, listen, I love that this guy calls in, Bobby, and is a big proponent of Charles Kelly. You're not going to get a lot of those guys. Hey, Bobby, let me tell you something. As a guy who I got to know Charles last year, and I think he's freaking awesome. Now, he checks all of the boxes except two. He's not young.
Yep.
And he's not experienced.
Well, I mean, listen, young may not be the way. I just think it matters in this day and age.
Now, as far as Charles Kelly goes, all of the Auburn connection, the recruiting. Do you talk about putting a staff together, Alan? Charles Kelly could put together a dream team at Auburn.
A gangster staff, dude.
Here's the other thing about Kelly too. I think because the more I think through all the scenarios, the harder, unless you make him the head coach, DJ Durkin, the harder I think it is to keep him around. I don't know why I feel that way. It's a gut feeling more than anything. I don't have any intel on that, but it just seems like it's going to be difficult. Charles Kelly, I think, helps guarantee that.
Sure, because Charles and DJ know each other. similar defensive philosophies. So that would be an easy fit. Coached together last year, know each other very well.
Co-defensive coordinators.
Yes. Look, when I think about Charles Kelly, he doesn't have the same experience, but there are a lot of people that have asked me, well, what about Willie Fritz? Willie Fritz is a phenomenal coach, and he's in his upper 60s, just like Charles. Okay. So sometimes we talk about new age and guys that can identify or aren't necessarily having to bend themselves into the mold of, a modern coach. To me, Charles Kelly is modern in that way, in that he understands the day and age player. I have heard enough of how he relates to people and their families and how he coaches that he could be successful. Does he have the highest ceiling of any candidate that we've talked about? Probably not. But does he fit Auburn? Absolutely. Would he put together a great staff? Absolutely. And if he's the backstop of your coaching search, like if that's the bottom, that's a hell of a high floor, guys. Like a hell of a high floor, and much better than where Auburn was positioned this time last cycle.
Yeah, I agree.
Great call, Bobby. Appreciate it, big dog.
4295, last caller of the night. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
This is Warden Eagle calling you from Texas.
What's up, Dan?
How you doing?
Good. How about you, man?
Real good, real good. Two quick things. One is I don't want anyone that has done something particularly well and that is how they have made their name in coaching. It seems like those guys think it's like they can't trap lightning in a bottle again. They don't adapt. They may not be willing to improvise and change. And I feel like there's a mistake. And to Cole's point, I know that he's been mentioned, but I wonder what y'all thought about Kenny Dillingham. He gave a press conference about raising money. And I know he did the worm and he's a goofball, but man, I think he might, with the right people around him, some wisdom, I think he might find some good stuff. Anyway, I'll hang up, let you guys talk about it. But I think that Dustin's downfall is he couldn't adapt. I think Freeze thought he could, rebuild what he did and kept searching for it, never adapted. I think whoever it is, y'all's point about Charles Kelly and everything else y'all been saying, they're going to have to understand today's age and not try to recreate something they've done, but build something new moving forward. So,
yep.
Right, where you go, guys?
Hey, good stuff, Dan. Hey, I would like to say a disclaimer. I don't think Charles Kelly is a tier 1 guy.
No, he's not.
So I'm not. And Bobby, listen, everything you said made sense to me. And just like we said, he checks a lot of the boxes, man. But okay,
is there anybody that checks every box though? It's almost like one box is left unchecked with everyone.
No.
And it is a good pool, by the way.
Yes. Coaching searches are crapshoots, man. And everybody's going to have a preference or a favorite. Realistically,
these guys could do well at another school and tank at one at the other school. It's just it's a crapshoot.
We've seen it. What happened with Brian Harsin? Great fit for Boise. Boise. Not a great fit for Auburn.
No, it was terrible fit.
Yeah, terrible fit, right?
So Dan says Dillingham. What do you think about him?
I think Kenny's a really good young coach.
I haven't put much thought into him, and I don't know why.
I haven't either.
I think he's a really good young coach, but I think Kenny's where he needs to be. I think he is again, you're talking about pulling a guy from his alma mater. Kenny went to Arizona State, GA'd at Arizona State, cut his teeth there underneath Mike Norvell before coming to Memphis. Went to Auburn for a year, then went back with Mike at Florida State, and then out on the West Coast with Dan Lanning, another guy he coached with at Arizona State, only to go back to Arizona State. What is the consistent in that? Guys that all coached at Arizona State, okay? I think it's going to be really hard to get him out of there. I think it would take the right school to get him to do it. I don't know how Kenny views Auburn. If he sees Auburn as that kind of school that he wants to leave what was a dream job for him, then maybe, because he is a really bright young coach that I think is going to have a great future in the business. I just don't know how he views Auburn and how good of a fit he ultimately would be. And Jeffrey talked about it again. Some guys excel at one place because everything is set and made for them. and they don't necessarily work as well at another place. It's kind of a square peg in a round hole.
Mm-hmm. I truly believe that most of these callers have said that, and Cole and you both have reemphasized, but there's a good pool here. The guys that we're talking about are good freaking
candidates. Yeah.
Candidates. They're great football coaches. And I think it was JG, maybe it was Justin, says he doesn't expect anything to happen. Now, here's something you're going to have to keep in mind. I'm going to do something on this this week on how Auburn's going to attack recruiting, because signing day, fellas, is like 4 weeks from Wednesday.
That's going to be tough.
I actually think I've thought about this a lot today. I think Auburn's in a decent spot.
I think they're improved their positions after today.
I am dying to have this conversation with you after the fact, because when you have that face, Jeffrey Lee, that's when I know you're on to something. We'll save it for the recruiting show, but that's when I know Jeffrey's on to something. When he makes that face, everybody, just so you know. All right, I'm giving away his tail here.
Fantastic show.
I feel the same, Jeffrey.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
And listen, this is talking to recruits, not just yesterday. We're talking about for the past weeks and off the record, and talking to people behind the scenes and people close to these recruitments. I really feel like if Auburn had continued with Hugh Freeze, I think recruiting would have been stagnant, especially as if it wasn't already on the offensive side of the ball.
I mean, there's no way it wasn't going to be. And offense, I don't think you have to sell defense that hard.
No.
I mean, you got that.
No.
Offensively, though, you can put a product on the field that excites some of these guys that are on the fence about you right now on the offensive side. You just need a few. Just get a few.
So the timing of this hire is going to be very interesting, because the Iron Bowl is November the 29th, I believe, and that's on a Saturday, and signing day is on Wednesday. So you're either going to go into signing day with an interim head coach who the recruits do not know whether, if or when he's going, or whether or not he's going to be there. They're going to have to sign. I guess they can enter the transfer portal.
They can. That's the deal here, right? Is that they could sign and then decide they don't like the coach, and they could enter the portal on January the 2nd.
So there's going to be a lot of different angles over the next month in recruiting that, we're going to do our best to keep up and try to touch on all of them, because there's, you've got defensive recruits, you've got offensive recruits, you've got defensive recruits that want to, Durkin to be there. And if he's there in any capacity, even if it's the same, they're feeling pretty good, and no reason to doubt them because of what what do you call it? Proof of concept.
I love it.
There it is.
Use a catchphrase. And then we're gonna break out another one. I'm gonna see if DJ Durkin can't stuff Diego Pavia in a locker. What do you guys think about that? Let's go. Yes.
See, man, how exciting is this week gonna be?
It is, right?
That game. I'm glad it's happening now, but it's like you could have gotten some excitement, given them a chance. Whatever. We're off that. It's over now. This is where we're
New day. New day. All right. Hey, great show tonight, fellas. Thank you so much for everybody calling in. We had some fantastic calls, some OG calls. Love it. Love the opinions, the insight, the questions, the comments. We love it all. Don't forget, if you're in Auburn, Opelika, Lee County, looking for some real estate help, give her a call. Miss Jessica Andrews with First Realty, 334-704-4442. Tell her we sent you. And if you're in the market for that new truck, GMC Sierra, Chevy Silverado, man, he's got the prices for you as long as you get to how much he's special. Caleb Schofield with Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC. Give him a call, 334-531-0996. All right, folks, that's going to do it. We're going to be back again. If you're not following auburnsports.com, Justin Hokanson, JG Tate, B. Matt, Caleb, Cole, everybody, man, we're going to be covering this coaching search from A to Z. $1 for the first week. Go check us out, auburnsports.com. We'll be back. We're going to talk recruiting angles midweek. So look for us to come out with the show maybe Thursday morning at the latest. We're shooting for Wednesday morning. Keep an eye on that as well. If you're not subscribe to our YouTube channel, go do it. Turn those notifications on. You'll know exactly when those videos get uploaded. All right. Thanks again for everybody for watching, for listening. We appreciate everybody. For Cole, for Alan, for Zach in the back who stayed in the back. I'm Jeffrey Lee, man. Y'all stay that left lane. See you.